So in 2013, I had a baby boy, and I found out when he was still in my womb that he had a rare neurological disability, and I was given some pretty sharp outcomes for what his life looked like. So I had this beautiful little baby, and by 4 months old, he had his first brain surgery. I think it was 7 days after he was born, he started having uncontrollable seizures. We tried a whole array of drugs to try and stop these seizures. Nothing worked. He was on a grown man's dose of steroids at one point, and he just ballooned. They couldn't keep him on that for a long period of time because it's such a strong drug. So we had no other option but brain surgery to try and save his life, really. He's had, I think, 9 operations in total now, and he's nearly 9 years old. Most of them have been brain surgeries, and the last one just a few months ago.
Hello and welcome to this Friday's episode of The Big Chat. My name is Coco. Some of you know me as Nicole, but I prefer to be called Coco. So it's Coco at The Big Chat for you from now on. And we're doing September episodes on Zoom. We're going to filmed episodes from October, November, but we had some guests that we just had to get busy with. And the quickest way to do that, as we all know through the pandemic, is Zoom. So we were busy at Local and Live recently. We had an amazing time with Giles. Giles and I really enjoyed talking to some amazing acts. And we had a bit of a breather last week. And there's certain person that's been in my life, certainly over the summer, suddenly exploded into my life, and I've known for, I think, probably less than a year, and actually helped with the soapbox and helped with lots of stuff. Soapbox, Local and Live. She basically helps everybody, and I want to help her. So I am delighted to introduce you to my very, very dear new but old friend, not old in age, she's gorgeous, Miss Brown Sugar, who I'll be introducing you to as Net. Hello, Net.
Hello.
Look, people say I have a sexy voice. They've not heard yours yet.
I don't know where it came from.
I'm going to be sexy voiced out now. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very excited to come on The Big Chat.
I'm very excited to have you on here. Cool. We've talked about this for a while, and now it's happening. It's today.
I know. I've seen so many of my wonderful friends appearing on here. Now I get to be.
You're here.
Let's see. I know. Awesome. Thanks for having me.
You're very, very welcome. And I mean, I met you through our mutual friends, Matt and James from Fine Grind, who you do a lot of work with, don't you?
Yes.
Now, obviously, we're here to talk about a certain someone, Goosebumps, but let's just introduce you so people know a bit more about you, who you are, as in what you do. You know, you're part of the Strong Female Lead with Danny. Just a little bit of a little quick Net roundup, please. Just a little quick one.
Cool. So the Strong Female Lead is a wonderful collective that Danny is the founder of, Daniela Cholik, and she brought together us 4 ladies, Jo and Holly as well. We basically run female empowerment workshops, but we are here to empower children, men, everybody. The family is a collective whole. But it started to empower women and children, women in business and in life.
Yeah.
And it's broadening to Brighton, London. It's expanding. It's a movement now. So that's fantastic. I have a small jewelry business, which is crystal jewelry. I'm wearing a little something now, a few bracelets.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so that's fun. That kind of developed in lockdown, just based around my love of meditating, love of looking for sort of plant medicine, natural medicine, innate wisdom, that kind of thing. So that grew, and it's a lot of fun. I'm an artist.
You are an artist.
And after everything. So I do have a little portrait of Junior here.
You have a portrait. We haven't talked about Junior yet.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So there's a portrait of my darling child.
There's your darling child. We will talk about in a minute. Yeah. But you also do a few tattoos.
I tattoo. Yes, I do.
Thank you.
I was lucky enough to get a job at 14 Arrows in Tunbridge Wells, which is an amazing tattoo studio in town. And I'll come back to why I'm not actually there at the moment. I'm an artist. I think before and after everything, I come back to being an artist. tattooer, portrait artist, murals. I love, drawing portraits.
You did
of
some
people.
beautiful murals for me. Well, not for
Yes.
me. Well, for
It
the
was very fun. Yeah.
and that's how we really got to know each other, wasn't it? It was basically Danny, who's a force to be reckoned with, and we did an Insta Live with her at
Absolutely.
Local and Live. Big up to Danny. And we'll be talking to her. We'll be talking to her on the big at some point in the future in the studio. But we basically met through. We met before that. Actually, we met at it was a Samba evening. I was told it was a female empowerment thing, except I went along with my friend Christian, and he was the only man, wasn't he? He was the only man in the room.
Amazing.
He was amazing. He did it all. He embraced it. Bambered. Hannah D was there, and we met you, and I just fell in love with you there and then. And then when Danny was like, oh, my friend, she's an amazing portrait artist, I was like, oh my God, how cool would it be to do a portrait of Rosemary Schrager in a pie? And Polly
that's
had just won the double platinum jubilee. And I was like, put her in not one crown, but 2 crowns sitting on a throne. And Danny was like, yes, I'll speak to Net. And you very generously did 2 beautiful portraits, which we will obviously make sure that we get shown again to people that haven't seen them. And Danny, and you and the strong female lead, you crystals, you donated, we did things with the kids, all the stuff that was done. But that's really how you and I met. And then we went on and did the Local and Live, and obviously you did my backdrop, beautiful backdrop. Obviously, I work a lot with humour, and we just added in a bit more flavour, didn't we? We just not that it needed more flavour. Hugh's all in on it. He's built
absolutely. He's amazing.
He is amazing, and we love Hugh. Yeah. I mean, God, his latest piece of The Queen, I'm like blown away with.
I haven't seen yet. Can't wait to see.
You'll probably see it. I should imagine it's amazing.
Yeah.
But the reason we're here today to talk is about you, because when I met you, I knew you many years ago. My children go to school one of them goes to Skinner's now, but the other one goes to Langton Green Primary. And I used to drive past annoyingly in my big old Range Rover, and people get so fed up with you driving up, like, I'm not going to say where it is, but up this particular road. And then, some of them, they're all lovely, but some of them moan, some of them this. And there was always this lovely smiley face that would beam out at me in the morning and be so polite. And I actually thought that you were a nurse. I think I told you this the other day. I was like, she's a carer, or she's a nurse, or she's something, because you were just, your energy.
Well, I am a carer.
You are, exactly. That. This is what I'm getting to. So I always noticed you, and that was maybe, oh God, going back like 5 years ago or something. I don't know how long it goes. A long time ago, before meeting. And then when I came to your house for the first time, I was like, oh my God, you live here. That's you. I turn up at your house, and you're a mother of 3 children, single mother, single working mother. And I've not met your eldest daughter, Scarlett, but I have met 2 of your children, beautiful children, Savannah, an absolute angel. But we're here to talk about Junior, aren't we?
We are.
Oh my God, it's gonna make me cry. Junior, I'm sending you the biggest hug ever, and I love you. Okay, I'm just getting that out there because I know he'll be watching this. Tell us about Junior, Net. Tell us about Junior. Let's hit it. Let's hit the road running.
Oh, okay. So in 2013, I had a baby boy, and I found out when he was still in my womb that he had a rare neurological disability, and I was given some pretty sharp outcomes for what his life looked like, and it was put in the words that he could be living in a vegetative state. So I mean, at the time, it's a bit of naivety on my part. I don't know, my rebel nature, I couldn't see that happening. It didn't ring true for me. I didn't believe it. So I had this beautiful little baby, and by 4 months old, he had his first brain surgery. I think it was 7 days after he was born, he started having uncontrollable seizures. We tried a whole array of drugs to try and stop these seizures. Nothing worked. He was on a grown man's dose of steroids at one point, and he just ballooned. They couldn't keep him on that for a long period of time because it's such a strong drug. So we had no other option but brain surgery to try and save his life, really, and give him some quality. So he started to hold his head up at the right point, the same kind of the milestone that generally kids hold their head up and do certain things. And then the seizures kind of increased and he lost the ability to everything, even suckle. So even feed. I was feeding him breast milk out of a syringe in the side of his mouth and just rubbing it to try and get it down his throat at the worst point. So he went for brain surgery, and the side of his brain that's affected is the right hemisphere. So it's completely abnormal. So they disconnected that side of the brain and had to go back in a few times. He's had, I think, 9 operations in total now, and he's nearly 9 years old. Most of them have been brain surgeries, and the last one just a few months ago. But we stopped the seizures. They have come back a few times over the years. We're managing them now on a very low dose of sort of epileptic medication from the Western.
Yeah, there's other conditions, doesn't he? Related to it.
Yeah.
He's got epilepsy. He's got what else is there that's affecting him through this?
There's pretty long names. There's hydrocephalus, hemimegalencephaly, hemianopia, a few things. So his sight is affected, his mobility is affected, his cognitive awareness, his cognitive development is affected. Every part of his life, every part of his development is affected. So he has physiotherapy, occupational therapy, speech and language, visual impairment specialists, pretty much everything just to help him get a good quality of life and manage all of these complications that he has. But he is the happiest, the most bubbly little dude. He cracks me up every day. I wet myself with laughter on a daily basis. Unless he's poorly, where there are times where he's really poorly and there's no sense of humor. He literally lays in front of the washing machine in pain. The only thing that stops his pain is CBD oil, which I'm really fortunate. My best friend owns a fantastic CBD company. She's involved with a lot of research around the world. She's dedicated to learning as much as she can about CBD and more. Trippy Panther. Check them out. She's amazing. Absolutely. You can message them at any time for research and connections into the CBD world, and she has really been a blessing to me. So he is firmly on Trippy Panther CBD, and it takes away his headache, or completely reduces. Doesn't take them away, but the benefits are unmissable. He can go from crying his eyes out in pain, in crippling pain. CBD, 5 minutes, he's either chilling, he's either sleeping, he's able to eat. It reduces his nausea. This is not an ad for CBD,
I know, it sounds like
I'm biased.
Danny,
I'm totally biased.
Like bigging you up. It's all right. We love Danny. It's fine. But it's true. There is some stuff on there that Danny shared, which actually does show Junior. You were kind enough to let her share, weren't you? Of actually showing him having an episode, and then after he reacted after CBD oil. So that was a very generous share. So to share.
Well, I recorded that because I was in A&E, and doctors have previously told me they won't support me on any CBD ventures, but that was years ago. So now they've kind of relaxed a little bit and they're more accepting because the evidence is just, you can't argue with it. So I recorded that because I was in A&E and I wanted to cover my back for giving my son something that has been so frowned upon. And the doctors were blown away by the effect that it had on him because they had nothing. We were in A&E for 8 hours and he was in pain for 8 hours. They couldn't do anything for him. So I pulled it out of my bag. I said, I'm going to give him this and I want your support here. And they said, we won't argue with you. Please go ahead if you feel it will help. And I got them to stay and watch, and I recorded it, and they just said, that's fantastic. And they support me now fully. So and I released that video.
You did. And I think for me, I mean, not only, for anyone that's not met Net, she, can tell your energy just from, I mean, we're in Zoom, we're not in the studio, but you just have, there's just a purity about you. I know look at your little face, but there's an absolute purity about you. And I tell you what, I am, as you know, well, now being a friend of mine, I can be a bit impatient. But
can you?
Yeah, well, maybe sometimes, but I can't cook. We've got that in common. Well, you can cook, but anyway, we'll get on to that. But
no, I'm happy. We've got that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We'll own that.
I'm good with that.
We'll own that one. Exactly. The patience you have, because Junior is, like you said, he is a sunbeam. He is literally a beam of sunshine. I remember the first time I met him and he was like, Coco, you melt my heart. He was literally like, Coco, I need a hug. I need another hug. He is so happy. I had stomachache the other day and this woman came around to see me, to help me with my stomachache. And Junior straight away put his hands on my tummy. He is really connected, very connected.
Yeah.
And when he's in pain, you can see he's in pain, but he doesn't complain. He doesn't. Yeah. He's incredibly strong and resilient. And Savannah is a testament to you as well, because it must be very, very hard for you, Net. I know you're a strong woman and you're a powerful woman.
Yeah.
But you've been through a lot and you have a son with a disability and you're having to do a lot of this stuff on your own. That's why I wanted to get involved. That because I see it. Your daughter and my daughter become friends. And Junior, you're like family now to me, but I see it. I see every day what you do, and you do it with love and grace, and you do it with kindness. And I mean, what is a day-to-day like? What is a day-to-day like in the life of Junior?
Well, it depends if he's well or not, to be honest.
So say he's not well. How could that start off? Talk to us.
It could start off at 1 a.m. sharp, with him being in pain, not being able to sleep, having headaches. Recently this year, his seizures came back, and he was basically having seizures for 8 days straight. So for 8 days, I could do nothing because I was so worried about him. CBD reduced the symptoms, and that was great, but it felt like nothing was going to take these seizures away. And it was like he was shivering. He's completely coherent. They're not the typical seizures that I was taught about. Many doctors told me he's not having seizures, but Great Ormond Street helped me investigate and confirm it was seizures. But the tough thing is, in small town hospitals, when you come in with a child with such a rare condition, they never understand. And some doctors will hold up their hands and say, we don't know, we need to reach out to specialists. And some doctors will just, try to bamboozle you with their theories, which is not very helpful at all. So, we had a really rocky week recently, and it was back and forth to A&E. We started Cranial Osteotherapy. We have a homeopath. We have a nutritionist. You
have to pay for a lot of this, don't you, Nat?
Alternative medicine.
You have to pay for it.
Yeah, I pay for it all. Yeah, so the cranial osteopathy, his first appointment was, I think, 110 or 120 pounds.
And let me just point out that Nat is actually sat in my house, not hers, just for anyone that's watching. she's
my palace.
It's not a palace, but she's sat in my front room. She's very welcome. She's sat there many a time. But I just wanted to get that across.
Yeah.
Because you are you're paying for a lot. I mean, when you told me the other day, I was like, what? This is crazy. This is crazy. Yeah. Because without this work.
Yeah. So, I mean, looking into my week, whether Junior's healthy or ill, I work at night. Whether I'm sitting in my bed drawing a portrait or designing a tattoo or making crystal jewelry or doing, online things, talking to people, meetings, being self-employed, you never know what you're doing next. And I think I definitely have ADHD, and I've totally accepted that and absorbed it. And that's why I have so many different businesses going on.
Yeah.
You've got to make it a strength, right? We're talking all these, I don't know, disorder, what do they call them? Oh, God knows what they call them. But if you understand them, you can make them your strength, right? They're powers, absolutely. So so I work from home, and I've had to tailor it. So this is why I'm not in the tattoo shop, as I kind of alluded to earlier, is because when Junior's not well, I can't bear the stress of letting down clients, of having someone who thinks they're coming in. You know, a tattoo is a big deal. You're coming in, you're changing your body forever. Most of the time, it's people who you've got life-changing events that go on, and you want to commemorate that and put it on your body forever. It's painful. It's very vulnerable. You have to get your body out to a stranger. It's intimidating. It's scary. It's loads of things. So to have to let people down every so often because my beautiful little boy isn't well and I can't go in, it made me sick to my stomach would turn, because I know how important it is being tattooed, and I want to do right by my clients. So I've got the most amazing guy who owns 14 Arrows. His name's Az. He's such a lovely guy, and he is so supportive of me being a single mum and with Junior and his conditions. And you know, my job is waiting for me. So when I can commit myself and not let people down and get in there, and my job's waiting for me. But for now, I can't be confident that Junior is going to be well enough for me to actually book my calendar up and have people waiting to come in and have an awesome tattoo and an awesome tattoo experience.
And again, Ned, that's you caring about other people and their experiences. Yeah. And this is the thing with this woman, people that are listening, she has never asked for a thing. I'm telling you now, I'm having to force it down her throat. I literally am. It's like no, I'm not. She's very grateful, but you do so much for so many other people, empowering women, the work that you do, the contributions you do, you feel it. You feel things deeply, as does Junior. As does Savannah. I mean, you know, apart from mushrooms, she liked treading on mushrooms the other day when I took her for a walk. I was getting fierce with those mushrooms. But I mean, Junior is, you know, we're going to show some clips of Junior at the end of this episode, so that people can get a real feel for him. I mean, you've recently just put up a reel, haven't you, of Junior? And it's like, went a bit bonkers, didn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm a bit, so my Junior's life, I haven't really put him out there. No. The first 4 years of his life, I kind of hid away with him, and I hid him away because I was scared of how the world would treat him. I'm going to get choked up. I was scared about him, you know, just receiving shit for being different. Yeah. So,
you're okay.
You're okay. So I hid my little dude away quite a bit. I don't do that anymore. I'm really fucking happy to say, and it's through having friends like you, friends like Matt and James, all these beautiful people in our community who've accepted me and my children, and accepted Junior through all of his, I hate the word, but disabilities, all of his complexities, you know, and his hurdles. I've been so lovingly accepted by so many awesome people in the last 2 years. My life has changed ridiculously for the better. But even, you know, before the last 2 years, I've started getting Junior out more and doing things with him. And I've forgotten my original point. What was my point here?
Because you started crying.
I didn't get out of the house a lot with him. What was my point?
You were talking about the fact that you basically you've kind of been in a bit of a shell, and you come out your shell. Yeah. And not with him, because you wanted to protect him, because you were worried about people's reactions. And actually, since you've come out, you've embraced the fact that people like me go, well, you need that? Well, let's get that. Because that's what our conversation started, wasn't it? We started a conversation about things that he needs. Because for starters, I'm like, you know, I mean, I'm a businesswoman. I understand how much things cost. And I'm like, come to your house, which is beautiful, but that's not your house. And I am looking at you with your children, and you've got a turtle, a panther, python. Is it? You would have, wouldn't you? You've got a turtle, a snake. You've got a beach out the front, like Polly from Pickering. You know, an equal beach out the front. You've got beautiful things in the garden for your children. You make things. You have made it into what I can only describe as, if anyone's been to the kingdom, Pete Cornwell's beautiful kingdom, it's like a mini kingdom. That's what I would describe it as when I go in. There's a tattoo. You have used, as I do too, every available space to make an experience for your children, your family, the best that you possibly can. And you have two of the happiest children I've ever met in my life. And Junior is, you know, when people see how it affects him, it is severe. Are you all right? Do you need a hug? Because I can send Rachel over for a hug.
Oh, I'd love hugs, but I'm good. I'm good. I'll take those hugs.
Go and give Net a hug, please. She needs a hug. We'll do a live hug. We've never done a live hug before. Rachel's coming. My offices are opposite my home, for those who don't know or aren't watching and they're just listening. They're going to be like, what? She's transported over for a hug. She needs a Rachel hug.
Thank you.
It's an emotional story, guys. It really is. And it's one that I've wanted Net to talk about for a while. So it's good that we're getting it out here.
I'm good. I'm perfect.
Thanks, Rachel.
Oh, Rachel's wonderful.
She gives good hugs.
Suzanne
does too, but Suzanne's like, you know, I can't talk to her. Rachel can hear. Anyway, so getting back to Junior, it really, you know, it's simple things like the swings in the garden, putting him in and out the swing, picking him up, his walking, going up and down the stairs. He's limited with his walking, isn't he?
Well, I mean, it took him 6 years to walk. So he bum shuffled for, I think he learned to bum shuffle at around 2. And then he was pretty much just bum shuffling for 4 years. And he's been now walking on his own for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
It took him a long time and a lot of hard work. And, you know, we've had physiotherapists and we had a government grant for adaptations to the property to make it more suitable for his needs. And they, an occupational therapist from the government came over and had a look at the place to see what we might benefit from. And she advised we get a through-floor lift because he'll never walk. And I said, absolutely not. And she said, well, you either take everything that I advise or you take nothing. So I said, we want nothing then. My son is not going in a lift. My son is going to crawl up those stairs until he walks. I'm not putting him in a lift. I'm not putting him in a stair lift. He's going to walk up those stairs. And she realized I was serious and stopped talking about a 3-floor lift. So luckily she did a few things like make a couple of the doors wider so he get through walking with his walking frame. You know, she understood that I'm not putting him in something. He can have wheels to help him walk, but dude's going to walk. I never gave up that idea. And, you know, whether it's naivety, whatever.
Not naivety.
I will strive. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to work for it. And if it doesn't come to fruition one day, I'll say, okay, we'll take whatever adaptations we need to make his life happier. But I'm not going to give up before he's even tried.
And he doesn't want to give up either. He wants to walk. No. You know, anyone that meets Junior, June wants to walk. He would be miserable going up. I mean, he would probably think a lift was quite funny, to be fair, but we'd probably have to go up in it as well. And that would we'd just be there for days going up and down in the lift, wouldn't we? So,
I mean, now with the electricity prices, I'll be like,
well, that's true.
Up in them, mate.
Yeah. You can go up a quarter of a way and that's it. That's all you're allowed.
Pricey, you know.
But things like that, you've had to fight for a lot, haven't you? Because again, and this is a force of your character, and I sort of describe you as a powerhouse individual. You are a force to be reckoned with, in as much as you know, as all of us mothers, we we know what's right for our children. I'm not saying that doctors don't. I'm not saying that doctors do. But what I'm saying is that there are some things that you as a parent, you have to make a decision what feels right. And you stand by that on many things, don't you? In the hospitals, at home.
Absolutely.
And it's working because he is so happy. And yes, he's still now. Yeah. What are some of the things that could really help him?
Okay, so there's one thing that I really, really want for him at the moment, which is a bike.
Never heard of a bike.
He stopped using his walker maybe 5 months ago, and they wanted to get him another one, and I said no, we're gonna challenge him now to walk without a walker. So he's built up some more stamina and he's doing fantastic. But I would like him to have some wheels that he can actually use. He can't use a skateboard or rollerblades, things like that. the only option we really have is a trike. But then with the trike, if I take my kids out with their bikes, I'm going to have to I'm going to have to run behind a trike, you know? So what I have found is a bike that I can ride and Junior can ride. It's a tandem bike. It's a Haste bike, if I'm pronouncing it right.
Yeah.
It's a recumbent. I think that is actually the name of the positioning of Junior's seat at the front. So I don't have this bike. I'm hoping to get one. And I think for the bike and everything that we'd need is about £8,000. And that's why I haven't attained one yet. But he has a supportive seat at the front, 5-point harness. What's the word? Movable. What's the word?
Adjustable
pedals. So he could have this bike from the age of 9, which will be in about 2.5 weeks.
Wow.
9. From the age of 9 all the way up to adulthood, he can use this same bike. Amazing. And I can ride it. Any adult who's with him can ride the bike. And so I haven't been able to get out and really teach Savannah to ride a bike yet because I'm always hands-on with Junior. So this can be another step towards her learning to ride a bike as well, which, you know, she's 7. She needs to learn to ride a bike now. She's ready. She's got one. We practice in the garden, but we really need to get out. So it's...
You need to use my lane. You need to use my lane.
Whole family.
You need to use my lane.
Absolutely.
We need to get down here. We need to get down here.
Yeah. So, you know, and I brought a bike for myself a few years ago, and the second day that I had the bike, I think I rode 50 something miles. I like riding bikes. Like I got out there, rode all the way to Eastbourne and then to Brighton. Yeah. And then slept on the beach.
I'm not going ride. Listen, I love you, but I'm not going.
Swollen.
I'm not going on a bike ride with you. You can go with Giles, the producer. Giles walked like 1 million miles in a day and stuff. And you can go for a bike ride with Giles one day.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, we'll have Junior with us too, hopefully.
Exactly.
We can get this bike.
And you, like you say, you can have this bike till adulthood. So, I mean, we were going to be talking on this episode about all the amazing things that we do. But I said to Net, I want to get you in the studio because, you know, we can show more of what you do. We can explore a bit, get a bit more immersive, and we can do it another time. And when Net told me about the bike, I was like, we're getting this bike. We are getting this bike. So as of today, when this episode goes live, we are going to have a fundraiser called The Life of June, because we do tend to call it June, which I love. Yeah. Cute. Yeah. I was born in June. Lovely. And The Life of June is going to be, we are going to be crowdfunding for Junior, because it's not just this bike. It's really important that people know this. You, Net, you are someone who, I'm going to try not to get emotional here, but you are always out with your children. You know, when we went through this pandemic and people were literally like, oh my God, suddenly I'm going out more and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. You are one of those people that has been doing that. You give your family every experience that they should and can have. And you have the problems that you have. I don't like to call them problems, but the difficulties that you have with Junior, the hurdles. Yeah, the hurdles. Yeah. That's the right word. Yeah. And that you give them the best life experience. I take my hat off to you. You inspire me a lot, you know, as a mother. And you're much younger than me. You've got, you know, a fair few 12 years on me, you cheeky mare. So I'm literally, you know, I'm in awe of you. And I've learned a lot from you. Just the way that you are with your children and the way that your children are, they are absolutely beautiful. And I really think that people need to understand that actually it's more than just a bike. You know, I'm setting this fundraiser at 50,000 because I know that you need a lot more than just a bike. You know, he's nearly 9. Okay. I mean, you probably need way more than 50,000, to be honest. But what you need right now is help with managing the day-to-day things that you are doing. You do so much for everyone else. You've done so much for me. You never ask for a thing. You're such a pain. You're such a pain because she's so generous. I have to really tell her no. I mean, I even had her birthday flowers in my front room for a flipping day and had to buy her a new bunch because I felt so bad about it. And just because we didn't get a chance to get them over. But literally, you are incredibly humble, and it is difficult, and you never, ever complain. I hear so many people complaining about their lot, and, you know, mutual friends of ours like Polly, who you did that amazing portrait for at Pickering. You know, look at Polly. Look at all the people she deals with, and she never complains. She never complains. Junior never complains. You don't complain. You very rarely even cry, you know. You are so giving that it's the treatment. There is so much treatment that he needs, and he's going to need for the future. You need help with that. And I want people to get behind helping you with that, because I'm asking on behalf of you for Junior, because what impacts Junior, but it also impacts you and Savannah and Scarlett and your family and other families like it. And people get better educated and people understand his condition more. You know, people need to know. Yeah. So yeah. I'm launching the fundraiser today, and it's set at 50,000. You're very welcome. You know, well, it's for Junior. It's for Junior, but you know, you and Junior are one. He did grow. You know, you did grow him. You kind of grew him. Yeah. I said that to mine the other day. But I just wanted to get that across, because yes, the bike's 8,000, but there's other bits that go on the bike. There's other things like holidays. You know, you're a single mum. Like I speak to you sometimes. It's 2:00 in the, you know, both you and I are night owls, and we have to work through the night sometimes to get things done. We're talking at 2:00 in the morning. You know, the other day you'd had 3 hours sleep, and then you're getting up and your son's having seizures, or he's bleeding or vomiting. Yeah. You know, we've touched on this lightly here, but this has been very severe, right?
Yeah. I mean, he was poorly just before the summer holidays, and he lost nearly a third of his body weight in less than 2 months. And that was really scary. I look back at the pictures now, and, you know, at the time, I didn't realize how sick he looked, really. And it was homeopathy, cranial osteotherapy, like all these health modalities that helped him, because Western medicine is seeming to kind of not lose hope. They've done so much for Junior. Western medicine has done so much for Junior, but he is such a complex case that sometimes they don't know what to do. We've been really lucky that homeopathy, you know, I think cranial osteotherapy is really a hidden gem. So he's doing that fortnightly now with Stuart Korth in Tunbridge Wells, who is amazing. And he's actually treated children and adults, young adults with Junior's condition, which is really rare. To even know 2 people in your lifetime with Junior's condition is really rare. So it's amazing that he's treated many, and he's 10 minutes down the road, you know, so we're really blessed to have him.
And you know, we're not saying people need to do things for free, because there always has to be an exchange of some sort, but that's why we want to do this crowdfunding, because however little many of us can give, you know, as we do with the soapbox, it really could make a massive difference to your life and an impact to your life. And we set that as a goal. We may get the bike, we may get the craniotherapy, we may get the osteotherapy, we may get the treatment, we may get the holiday, we may get the camper van, meaning that you can take him away, we may get all the things on a dream list that really would make this boy's life so enjoyable. Because anyone, check out Miss Brown Sugar's Insta and look at the reel of this boy. He is absolutely beautiful. And you know what? All he ever does is say, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
He sees me. First he says, "Coco, are you okay?" Yeah. He is.
See, one thing is he's emotionally intelligent, and I think he is a lot more advanced than his peers. And because he has all these other sort of hurdles and, you know, disabilities, I think he has really tuned in to emotion. I see with my kids, my younger two, with Savannah and Junior especially, when I'm talking to them, they watch every muscle in my face. When they're talking to somebody else, they don't necessarily look in your eyes. They're watching every muscle in your face, because they're reading your emotion. And they will ask you. They're very open. And they love to talk, and they will, if you don't seem quite happy, or you seem too happy, they'll ask you why you're sad, why you're happy. They talk about it, and it's a beautiful thing. I mean, I studied psychology for 4 years, just shy of 4 years, throughout their lives. So I did a lot of techniques with them, talked to them about stuff. You know, it made me a better parent, a better woman, a better friend, all things. So they got that experience as well. So, you know, it's really beneficial when you have a serious disability in the house. And when Savannah's she's born a carer. She's gone through both of them. I've separated with their dad, and that's been very messy. And they've gone through lots of things that are tough for a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So to have emotional intelligence and emotional awareness and the ability to communicate is a blessing. And I'm really grateful that they have that. And even with Junior's global delay, you know, he can communicate his feelings, his wants, maybe not always his needs, because sometimes he doesn't know what he's feeling and where physically.
You know, it's beeping my car horn. I'm not, you know, I said to him the other day, we're going to have to pretend. We're going to have to pretend, mate. We can't keep beeping the horn. It's going to really annoy people. They don't understand.
I mean, he got the hold of someone's throttle on their motorbike the other day. Luckily, it wasn't in gear, and, you know, he gave him the permission. But, I mean, I thought the bike was going to blow up. I couldn't get his hand off of it. And he was so, like, exhilarated. He was so thrilled to be pulling this throttle. And oh my gosh, I think I've got a problem on my hands there. Keep away from motorbikes.
You have not got a problem. You have got a gift of joy, and I really want everyone to show that. And look, that beautiful portrait behind you there is Junior, isn't it? That is our June. That is our June. So, I mean, I you know, I just want everyone to get to know you and June as I have done, because you're such treasures. And literally, come on, guys, let's get behind this. Let's see what the power of the people can do, because I know it can do good things. And I really wanted to start these big chat series, this just talking to people that really inspire me and have helped me. And this woman helps me a lot, trust me. She helps me a lot. And you know, and I'm not talking about, you know, I mean, emotional, you know, it's with everything you have going on. I don't think there's ever been a time that you've ever not had time for someone or anyone. And I like to think I'm like that as well, unless you catch me on the day of the soapbox when I'm pretty unavailable, running people over in buggies. But other than that, I'm pretty available. And to meet someone like you has been a blessing. So I would love everyone to get behind this. There's going to be all the information about the fundraising page. It's going to be called The Life of June. And we're going to share as much as we can about June and his journey and everything that he's going through and everything you're going through. And we'll just see where it takes us.
Yeah. Well, you know, one of my motto in life, what I like to live by, is I expect nothing and I'm grateful for everything.
And I love that. I really love that. And that's a beautiful motto. And it's one that is truly deserving. So I appreciate you coming on and telling us all about this, because I know it's emotional. And I know I've been sort of like nudging you a bit. Not, you know, not little. I'm very subtle.
You're allowed to nudge me. Can nudge me anytime.
Okay, good. That's good. But literally, you know, we are going to be sharing more, and we're going to be, you know, really doing this for Junior, getting behind Junior.
I can remember my point earlier when I forgot what I was saying.
Say it.
So I was saying how I kept him kind of hidden from the world.
Yes.
I've started to find, like, I've been in abusive relationships in the past, and I've completely lost my voice, my sense of self. You know, I've been hit rock bottom twice, never again. And but now I'm finding my voice, but I'm also helping my kids to find their voices. So I put up a reel of Junior. This is, I think, where I was going. Instead of hiding him away from the world now, I'm putting him out on front stage. You know, my Junior wants to sing. He wants to sing to the world. He wants to be on stage. He loves to make people laugh, and he's good at it. And so I put up a reel. I made a few reels of him lately, and I haven't put any up. And I put one up this morning, and I think within a couple of hours, it had nearly 90,000 views and hundreds of comments and likes. Views. Yeah. I mean, it was just a little thing.
A little
basically,
insight.
You know, just a tiny glimmer. But I think what really got the views is inspirational, and his smile. You can see he's been through stuff. You know, he's got multiple scars on his head. You can see he's had his skull cut open, drilled into. and he's had his brain played with a few times. He's got wires coming out of, from his skull to his stomach, draining his cerebral spinal fluid. He's got serious things he has to deal with, and you can see them. They're apparent. So the fact that his smile is so big and so true, and he has such joy on his face every single day, even when he's really poorly sometimes and he's been laying in front of the washing machine, his favorite spot, in pain, sometimes we'll check on him, or I'll just walk past and he'll just crack a joke. His latest thing is, "Oh, hello there." But that's his latest thing. And I think he's kind of like imitating one of our friends, Mike, who I think owns part of the kingdom as well. So I think Mike's like this old gentleman, this old wise, like medieval.
There you go, Mike.
And I think Junior's, I think Junior's trying to pinch his style. So
I love that.
I opened the toilet door the other day, and Junior was on the loo having a what, and opened the door, and he crossed his arms and went, "Well, hello there." And it's just the funniest. I just shut the door again, and I heard him crack up as I shut the door. But he could say the smallest thing at any time when you least expect it. I went in at 2 a.m. the other morning, or 1 a.m. just to make sure he was tucked in, check on him before I went to sleep. And he turned around, looked at me, and said, "You right, princess?"
Well, he makes me knock on the front door when I come. He makes me knock on the front door, and then he goes, "Hello," and I say, "Who is it?" And I say, "It's Coco," and he goes, "It's the police." You can't go. Sometimes he's a policeman. He's like all kinds of characters. He's so amazing. He's such. I mean, he's family to me now, and as you all are. But if everyone contributed £1 each, I'm sure there's more than 50,000 people. I mean, you've had 90,000 people watch the reel. So let's just blow this up for Junior, because honestly, you really deserve it. You've been through a lot more.
Set a goal. Should we set something that Junior's going to do in this bike? I believe we'll get the bike. I have no doubt.
He's going to get the bike.
Whether we fundraise or not.
Well, look.
What's he going to do?
Let's save some juice. Let's save some juice, all right? We keep this juicy, because you're going to come back on. I need to talk to you in this chair at some point, not over there in my house.
Well, we'll have a word with Junior.
We'll see what he says. Yeah, why don't we ask Junior? Why don't we give it over to June and see what he'd like to do? And we can set a challenge for him and the bike. Once we reach our goal, which we know is 8 to 10K, we need to hit that. Yeah. So from Friday, all the info is going to be on here. Everything's going to be on here. Share the hell out of this and do what you can to get these guys some support. Because I'm telling you from my heart, those that know me know that I don't, I help people that need help. And you never ask for help. And you're my favorite kind of people, the people that don't ask for help, but really actually bloody well need it. And you do need help now, because you are a wonderful person and a wonderful mother, and your children are blessed to have you, and you're blessed to have your children. And so this big chat really was just, it's about June, and it's about you, and we will go more into your story and talk more in the future on this show in the studio. But I want this bike to happen, man. Come on, it's starting to rain. Let's get these kids riding. I've got a massive lane they can literally practice on with the dogs running alongside them. They love their dogs. We're dog sharing at the moment, so we can literally make all these things happen. So let's just make this happen, and get Junior the bike and as much as we can to get behind you, so that you've got less pressure on you, because it is a pressure, and you never ever complain.
No, I have a wonderful life. I mean, even when it's my hardest day, I could cry, I could feel like poop, but I still have so much gratitude for life. No matter what, and my life is never going to be as hard again as it has been in the past. So I've got through what I've got through. I can get through anything.
You can get through anything. And you got me now, babes. You're stuck with me for life. So sorry.
I love you, Coco.
I love you more.
So much.
I love you more. And I love June. Right. So we've got to wrap this up. I mean, this has been like probably one of the longest big chats we've ever done. It could go on forever. I think all my staff are leaving. They're like just all going home. It's like everyone's off. But no, it has been amazing to talk to you, Nat. Okay. Waving at you. Don't move too much. So we're starting the fundraiser today. We're starting the campaign today. We want to be really clear about this. This isn't a charity, but this is for June. This is for the life of June. Okay. So I'm fully behind this, and I know many of your friends will want to help as well. And many have helped. And let's just, make a difference, because next year is going to be a really, really tough year for everybody. And seriously, there is always someone out there that needs more help than you do, right? And if we all come together and help each other, then we'll get through it. I've always believed that. I really believe in that. And I know you do too. So, this episode was about June. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you for listening.
I look forward to seeing you again soon, probably in a minute. But yeah, to those of you listening, if you want to find out more about June, then there will be the link to it will be Just for Giving, but it's a crowdfunding page. So it will have a link on there. It might be Just for Giving. I don't know. Suzanne sets all that stuff up. I'm rubbish. But she is setting it up. So that'll be all the info there. Or you can find Miss Brown Sugar on Insta. That's probably the best place to find you, isn't it? And find content. And then you will see all her beautiful, amazing friends and be able to find Danny and all these other fabulous creatures that she's introducing me to that you'll get to meet. But is there anything else you want to end off with? I mean, you've kind of summed it up perfectly with your gratitude.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful for you, Coco. Thank you.
Oh, God, you don't need to be grateful for me. We need to be grateful for Junior. I mean, I fell in love with Junior. Do you know what I mean? Seriously. And
he's a special guy.
He's a special guy. He really is special. So seriously, thank you so much for your time today, darling. And let's see what happens. Let's see if next time we're talking, when you're sat in that chair in a month, he's on his bike. All right. So on that note,
he'll be pretty wild on that bike.
He'd be pretty wild on that bike.
Yeah.
So on that note, we better get on our bikes.
Okay. Yeah.
And thank you for coming on to thank you for joining us on the Big Chat, darling. Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Big love to you. And check out all the, all the Insta hashtags, everything that we're going to be sharing with you. And if you want to make comments on this post or get involved or find out more about what we're doing, please do in the comments below. And we'll keep you updated. Big love, Brown Sugar. Big love.
Big love, Coco. Love you.
Love you.
Mwah.